Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my top music this week, what I was listening to. So let's just dive straight into it. So my top artist this week was Florence and the Machine with 36 scrubbles. A scrubble is when you listen to a something once, just so you know. So it could be an artist, an album, a song. It's called a scrubble on Last FM because I used Last FM to track it. So I had 36 scrubbles, and that is because I listened to Lungs a lot, and I also listened to How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful quite a lot as well. So yeah, in total I listened to 69 artists this week. So yeah, the second top artist was Nina Nesbitt, and that is because I've been listening to Mountain Music a lot, which is her latest album, which I really love. I talked about it a lot more last week, but I highly recommend that album if you haven't listened to it yet. It is so beautiful. The lyricism on it is just insane. My three favourite songs from it is Pages, I'm Coming Home, and Mansion. They are just absolutely stunning. So yeah, and then my third top artist is Alessi Rose with 23 scrubbles, and I am just obsessed with Alessi Rose. I said this last week, but I really love her music. I'm so excited because she's at the very beginning of her career, but she's already opening for really big artists like Dua Lipa and Tate McRae, which is just insane. She opened Dua Lipa's Wembley Stadium show last week, which was just incredible, and she's played Isle of Wight Festival and Glastonbury Festival since she opened for Dua Lipa, so she's been doing a lot lately, and it's been really fun to watch as a fan. So yes, and my fourth top artist was Maisie Peters. As you guys probably know, Maisie Peters is my most favourite artist of all time, so of course she made the list this week with 23 scrubbles. And then we have a new artist that I have never listened to before. I started listening to this week, and that is Freya Ridings, and I listened to her 16 times this week. So yes, I will talk about her a bit more when I get to the albums section. And then next we have The Smiths with 16 scrubbles, and that is because I am listening to NME's top 500 albums of all time, and I'm starting from number 100 and working down, and then after that I might go back up to 500 and then work my way back down to 100. So the number 100 album is Hatful of Hollow, I think that's what it's called, or it's just Hatful of Hollow, not A Hatful of Hollow. I don't know what that means, but it's a very interesting title. But I absolutely loved that album. I'll talk about it a bit more when I get on to talking about albums. But yeah, I really loved their sound. I think they're a really great band. And they do the Charmed theme song, so of course I'm gonna love their music. Next we have Lola Young. I really love Lola Young. I absolutely loved her Glastonbury set. I thought it was incredible. And she is up there with 14 scrubbles because I listened to her album This Wasn't Meant For You Anyway, I think it's called. Yeah, I listened to that yesterday, which I really loved. Again, I'll talk about it a bit more later. The next one we have is Lorde, and that is because Lorde released an album on Friday called Virgin, which I haven't listened to all the way through, but my favourite track off of it so far is What Was That? I think What Was That is the sound of the song of the summer. It is just an incredible song, and it's very like melodrama-esque, so I really love that because I think Melodrama is probably my favourite Lorde album, if not Pure Heroine, I don't know. It's difficult to pick between those two. But I'm not really sure about her new music. Like I find it a bit different like to her other stuff. I don't know if it's more slow and sadder. I haven't listened to it properly, but if it is, then I don't know if it's my vibe. But yeah, I definitely need to listen to the whole album to be able to comment on it properly. Next we have The National, and it was my first time listening to them this week, and I listened to them 14 times because I listened to their album, The First Two Pages of Frankenstein, I think it's called. But I think they're a really, really great artist, and I thought that it was really interesting to hear how similar it is to projects like Folklore and Evermore by Taylor Swift because of Aaron Dessner. He produced those albums. So I really, really loved that Folklore Evermore-ish kind of sound, and their music sounds quite similar to that. So I think that I'm really excited to listen to the rest of their discography, if it's similar to that. And even if it's not, I'm sure it would be amazing. But yeah, The First Two Pages of Frankenstein is a really, really great album. It is, yeah, very folklore-y, just like relaxing music with lots of piano in it. It's very, very nice, and lots of guitar as well. So I love that. The next one is Olivia Rodrigo with 12 Scrubbles. I listened to her album Guts this week, so that is why she has made the list, because I don't listen to Olivia Rodrigo very often, because I've listened to her music just so much that I just don't need to listen to it anymore. I'm waiting for Olivia Rodrigo 3, the album, to come out. So yeah, I don't listen to her very often because I've overplayed all of her songs. So yeah. Next we have Sam Fender with 12 Scrubbles, and that is because I listened to People Watching, the album, once this week. I usually listen to it more times in a week, but because I've heard it so much now, because it came out in February, I only really listen to it once a week, and I played it in the bar because I work in like a bar and also in a restaurant. So when I'm on the bar, often I get to play my own music. So I chose Sam Fender because the bar was quite quiet, and I thought Sam Fender is a great vibe to have in the bar. So yeah, I played literally the whole album for the people who were drinking in the bar, and it was a really, really fun time. So yes, but it's annoying because it's not going to count towards my People Watching Scrubbles because I played the clean version, which is a completely different album to the other one. Like, it's counted as a completely separate album. So it's not gonna, at the end of the year when I look at my top albums, it might not be as high on the list, even though it should be. So I might play through it again, like the main album that isn't the explicit one. I might just play through it so I've got the right amount of Scrubbles on that album, because I just really, really like my stats to be perfect. Like, even if I listen to like physical media, like a vinyl or a CD, I will like stream it on my phone so that I know how many times I've listened to that album that year. So yeah, next we have Ash with 8 Scrubbles, which is a lot less than last week. Last week was a bit crazy. But yeah, I listened to a couple of her tracks a couple of times, but because I've been listening to Wilson so much lately, I haven't been listening to it so much this week. I've been having a break from it because it's one of my summer albums and I don't want to exhaust it right at the start of the summer. So yes, next we have The Libertines with 8 Scrubbles, and that's because their album, their self-titled album, is on the NME's list, so it's number 99, so that's why I listened to them this week. The next one we have is Inhaler with 7 Scrubbles. I started listening to them this week. I did a video where I reacted to their top 5 songs on Spotify, but I don't know if I'm going to release it because I didn't really have a lot to say about the songs. Like, I absolutely loved all of them, like, so much, but I just didn't have that much commentary, so I don't know if that would be boring for people to watch, and people might not enjoy it because I don't have loads to say. So let me know in the comments if you want me to release that video, but I don't know if I should or not. Next we have the Arctic Monkeys, and that's probably because I listened to the album AM a couple of times this week. Next we have Clairo with 6 Scrubbles. I absolutely love her album Charm, so I probably listened to that a couple of times, and that's why she's up there. Next we have Erin LeCount. I absolutely love her music. I only started listening to her recently because I came across her music on TikTok. Yes, I am a TikTok user now. It is really bad. I should stay off of TikTok, but I can't help it. I literally avoided TikTok for like my whole life, only going on it for like a couple of months at a time, and then deleting it. And then this year I've brought it back because it helps me discover new music and like keep up to date with artists and what they're doing. So I don't know. So yeah, I absolutely love her EP, I Am Digital, I Am Divine. It is a really, really good EP. I absolutely love the production on her music. I think it is absolutely incredible. And her vocals are just absolutely stunning. So if you haven't listened to her music, I definitely recommend you go and check out I Am Digital, I Am Divine. It is an amazing, amazing project. So yeah, next we have Griff with 5 Scrubbles, and I am obsessed with Griff. I am wearing my Griff merch today. I bought this top off of Vinted for a tour that I didn't go to, which is probably not great, but I did go to a Griff tour the same year that this tour was, and I just absolutely love this tour t-shirt. And they didn't have these tour t-shirts at my show. They had different ones. They had like long-sleeved astronaut ones. Like she's got a song called Astronaut. They were like themed around astronaut. And I ended up buying like more of like a sweater. Like it's not a jumper, I would say. It's kind of like, it's like a hoodie but without the hood. One of those kind of jumpers. So I have one of those, but I have bought a t-shirt for every single concert I've ever been to, and I didn't have a t-shirt for this tour, and I saw this on Vinted, and it's the Miss Me Too artwork with Griff on it, so I thought I had to get it. And it still says Birmingham on it, and I went to the Birmingham show. Don't know if you can see. So yeah, I did want to go to the Birmingham show in March that this t-shirt would have been on sale at, but I couldn't because I was in the middle of sixth form. So I ended up going in November instead because she did 2 tours last year. But it was an incredible, incredible show. I did do a mini vlog of it on my other channel, She Went Into the Woods. It's episode 2 of the Druidry Diaries if you wanted to check it out, but it's really not a massive concert vlog. It's really, really mini, so yes. I really need a drink. I don't have a drink. I'm gonna have to drink this. No, I'm joking, I'm not actually gonna drink that. That smells really strong. So yes, and then next we have Japanese Breakfast, which I saw a tiny bit of their Glastonbury. Oh, it's a solo music project, so I saw a little bit of her Glastonbury set, like literally like 10 seconds of it, but I haven't seen the whole of it. I might watch it. I haven't listened to her latest album, which is called For Melancholy Brunettes. I absolutely love the song Be Sweet, but I wish like she had more songs like that. I don't know if she does, but I absolutely love Be Sweet. It's such an amazing song, so highly recommend you go and check that song out. I hope I've edited this to have like little snippets of the songs. That would be cool. So yeah, next top artist we have is Somber with 5 Scrubbles. I discovered him because he's been all over TikTok. His music's been in the top 10 and all of that. So that's because I've listened to Back to Friends and his latest single. I don't know what his latest single is called. I've forgotten. Yeah, I listened to his latest single twice and then I listened to Back to Friends probably 3 times. So that's why he's on the list. Next we have the Rolling Stones with 5 Scrubbles, and that's because I did a video about the Rolling Stones this week where I listened to their top 5 songs on Spotify. So that is on my channel. You can go and check it out if you haven't already. Next we have Gracie Abrams with 4 Scrubbles. I don't listen to Gracie Abrams that much because I'm not really a big fan of her music. I am a fan. Like, I've listened to her music since the Minor EP. but I wasn't like a big fan in the Good Riddance era, or a big fan in the This Is What It Feels Like era. I've kind of like watched her grow from afar. I haven't really been like one of the big fangirls of hers. I just find her music a bit heavy sometimes. Like it's quite sad in some parts, and it's just really not my thing. I prefer my pop to be a bit more like upbeat. I don't know, I find her music just a little bit sad, but I absolutely love her hits like That's So True, Close to You. I do really, really love the This Is What It Feels. Is that what it's called? This Is What It Feels Like? Is that what that EP is called? Yeah, it is what it's called. I absolutely love that EP. It should be counted as an album really, because it's got 12 songs on it. But I always used to listen to that when I was studying in sixth form. But yeah, I like Gracie Abrams, and I like listening to her albums, but I tend to listen to her albums when I'm sleeping, like when I'm napping in the day, because it's really, really nice to sleep to. Sorry if that's offended anyone, but I just need to be honest. So yes. Next we have Taylor Swift. I literally listened to her 4 times this week, which is crazy. But yeah, don't know what songs they were. But yeah, 4 times Taylor Swift. And then we have the 1975 with 4 Scrubbles. I watched a bit of their Glastonbury set, but Matty Healy was just an absolute mess. I don't know what he was thinking, going onto the stage that drunk and like so intoxicated. It was insane to watch. But I think that they are an incredible band. I did a reaction to them a couple of years ago. I did their top 5 songs on Spotify, like a reaction to that. But I haven't listened to them loads since then. I've listened to them a bit. I know their top songs. They're not like one of my favourite bands. I just listen to them sometimes. But I do really, really love their music. I really love their sound. I think they're really cool. But yeah, not my favourite. But I do like their music. Next we have Callum Hood. He's a member of 5 Seconds of Summer, and he has a new album called Order Chaos Order, which has recently come out, and I haven't listened to it properly yet, but it is really, really good, so I highly recommend you go and check that out. So yeah, I listened to him 3 times this week. And next we have Fleetwood Mac with 3 Scrubbles. I love Fleetwood Mac so much. They're one of my most favourite bands of all time, if not my favourite band of all time, as well as The Favours, obviously. But yeah, really, really love Fleetwood Mac. Then we have Harry Styles with 3 Scrubbles, because I love listening to Harry's House in the summer. And then we have Maggie Rogers with 3 Scrubbles. I try not to listen to Maggie Rogers as much anymore, because like a couple of her songs they play at work on the speakers, like on this playlist that they have on loop. So I've heard So Sick of Dreaming so many times. So I don't really listen to her loads. And her album, what's it called? Her debut, Heard It in a Past Life, was the album that I listened to before every single A-level exam. Like when I got to school and I was doing that like last cramming session, like the half an hour before the actual exam, that was the album that I listened to. So I don't listen to that album much anymore. And then Surrender, I find a bit of a funny album. I don't really listen to it that much. It came out when I was doing my GCSEs, so I haven't heard it loads, but it is really good, but it just doesn't hit the same as Heard It in a Past Life or Don't Forget Me. Yeah. So next one is Olivia Dean with 3 Scrubbles, and that's because I streamed Nice to Each Other and Dive a little bit this week. Next we have Sunday 1994, which I'm going to see this year. I'm so excited to see them on tour. But yeah, I really love their music. Then we have The Favours with 3 Scrubbles. I listened to The Little Mess You Made 3 times this week, which is an improvement from last week. I think last week it was something like 14. It was crazy.
The little mess you made is filling up our room.
Then we have The Last Dinner Party. I really, really love them. I think they're an amazing band. I haven't listened to their debut album in full yet. I keep meaning to do that, but I really, really love songs like Nothing Matters, The Feminine Urge, Sinner. I think that they're really, really great songs. Then we have 5 Seconds of Summer with 2 Scrubbles. The odd one of their songs popped up, so I listened to them. Then we have Addison Rae with 2 Scrubbles. I tried to listen to her debut album Addison, which came out about a week ago, I think. But I couldn't really get into it. Maybe I need to listen to it again, or maybe it was just the first song just didn't hit. But I really, really love Headphones On. I think that's a really cool song. So I might give it another chance. Let me know in the comments if you've listened to it and what you think of it. But yeah, that is mostly it. The rest are the ones with like 2 or 1 Scrubble, so I'm not gonna mention those. But yeah, those are my top artists of the week. Next we move to albums, so I listened to a total of 111 albums this week. I didn't listen to 111 complete albums, I listened to songs from 111 different albums. I don't know how many albums I've listened to in full, but I will talk about all the albums I've listened to in full now. So the first top album, the top album of this week was Mountain Music by Nina Nesbitt. And yeah, I think I talked about this album last week and I talked about it already today, but it is just stunning. It is just such a beautiful album. It is just like pure poetry. It is so beautiful. I'm not going to talk any more about it because I've talked about it enough. But yeah, highly recommend you go and check that out if you haven't already. Next we have Lungs by Florence and the Machine, which is one of my most favourite albums of all time. It is on my wall as one of my favourite albums, and it is just beautiful. It is like, the production is stunning. I absolutely loved the BBC proms of it, where it was performed in the Royal Albert Hall a couple months back. It was absolutely beautiful. I absolutely loved the way that I think it's Florence Welch. I think she writes the songs. Yeah, I think she is the lyricist of the songs, but she writes songs really beautifully and just like so much imagery and just like it's impossible to like emulate her songwriting style because it's just so unique and beautiful, like the way that she writes. So yes, some of my favourite songs from Lungs are Dog Days Are Over, obviously, the massive hit. We then have Rabbit Heart, Raise It Up is amazing. I'm Not Calling You a Liar, I usually skip like lately, but it is a good song. I think I've heard it just too much. And then Howl is just beautiful and like so atmospheric. I really, really love that. And then Kiss with a Fist is just really funny. Girl with One Eye is like incredible. Drumming Song is beautiful. And then Between Two Lungs is really, really cool. And then Cosmic Love is one of my most favourite ones on this album. I think it's really, really amazing. I listened to it so much last year. My Boy Builds Coffins is like such an interesting song. And then the rest of them I haven't really heard that much because when I'm listening to an album, I don't always listen to it to the end. So I don't really know Hurricane, Drunk and Blinding. I know You've Got the Love because it is, again, a massive global hit. So I've heard that a lot. And then the rest of the songs I haven't really heard that much, so I don't know how they go. But yeah, 17 Scrubbles on that album. We then have Freya Ridings' debut self-titled album, Freya Ridings, with 16 Scrubbles. And I discovered her because on TikTok there was an advert of this woman singing her song, and someone in the comments said it sounds like Freya Ridings, and I was like, I don't know who she is. So I've heard of her before, but I've never listened to her music, so I searched her up on Spotify and listened to her song Castles, and I thought it was so beautiful. So Castles is one of my top songs of this week, but she has such a beautiful voice, and I am so excited to listen to her second album, Blood Orange. But yeah, really recommend her. She's got an absolutely amazing voice, and her debut album is amazing, so highly recommend that. Next we have Hatful of Hollow by The Smiths with 16 Scrubbles. I thought this was an amazing record. It is a compilation album, so it picks songs from different albums, and then there's also songs on it that aren't from different albums. It's a bit confusing. I don't really understand what it is as an album. It's a compilation album, but it is one of their albums. It doesn't really make any sense. But you have like some of their songs that appear in other albums, and it's like the John Peel version. I don't know. But they're like performances of different ones. So it has like This Charming Man in it, which is also in their self-titled album, but it's like not the original This Charming Man. I absolutely love This Charming Man. I think it's an amazing song. It's the John Peel version, so yeah, I don't know. But I thought it was an amazing album. I really loved it, and I highly recommend you go and listen to it. Next we have the first 2 pages of Frankenstein by The National with 14 Scrubbles. I thought that this album was incredible. I talked about it a bit already, so I won't talk loads about it. But some of my favourite songs on it was Eucalyptus, Tropic Morning News, and The Alcott with Taylor Swift. It was really cool to hear Taylor Swift feature on one of the songs. Then we have How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful by Florence and the Machine, and this had 13 Scrubbles. I still haven't finished listening to this album. I just streamed Queen of Peace loads and loads, and Ship to Wreck loads of times. But I still need to listen to the end of this album, but it is a really cool album. I can't believe it's 10 years old. Like I can't believe that 2015 was 10 years ago now. I think that's crazy. Because I'm now coming to an age where when stuff is like 10 years ago, it like you can't believe that it's 10 years. Because like a couple of years ago, if something was 10 years ago, it felt like 10 years because I was really young. But now I'm like 19. When something happened 10 years ago, it's like, wow, that doesn't seem that long ago. So yeah. Next we have Lola Young with This Wasn't Meant For You Anyway with 12 Scrubbles. I think that this album is amazing. I really love the way that she writes songs. It sounds so honest and so real. I really love her music, and I'm so excited for her new album that's coming out in September, I think it is. But yeah, next we have Guts by Olivia Rodrigo with 12 Scrubbles. I really love Guts. I don't know which one I prefer, Sour or Guts. Probably Sour because it's just a classic album. It's amazing. But yeah, some of my favourite songs off of Guts. They haven't put the track list on there. Some of my favourite songs off of Guts include Logical. Logical is just insane. I think it's an amazing song. What else do we have? Lacey is just so beautifully written. We have Making the Bed. Oh my god. We have Pretty Isn't Pretty, which is like Jealousy's sister. But yeah, amazing. And Get Him Back was just like a moment when it came out. That was amazing. So yeah, next we have People Watching by Sam Fender, which is what I consider to be the album of the year. But I don't know what other people think. I think it's one of the top albums that has come out this year so far. Well, it is the top, in my opinion, of like the ones that I listen to. But yeah, absolutely love that record. I bought it for my dad on Father's Day in vinyl, and I bought myself the CD. That's how much I love this album. It's the first time I've bought an album like in vinyl and CD at the same time, except from when I bought The Good Witch, because it was like a deal where you got the CD and the album, the vinyl together. But yeah. Then we have For Your Validation by Alessi Rose with 8 Scrubbles, which is her most recent EP. She also has an EP called Voyeur coming out next month on July 25th, which I'm so excited for. It's going to be incredible. I really wanted to get it on the pink vinyl that she was doing on her store, but I missed out on that. So hopefully she restocks it. But I think I have missed out on getting it on vinyl in pink. But yeah, For Your Validation is just such a great EP. We have tracks like Oh My, which I love to sing along to. Start All Over. We have I Know You Know. I'm So Chill and Cool. Oh my god, the amount of times I've streamed I'm So Chill and Cool. It's insane. Then we have Pretty World. Oh my god, incredible. And Don't Ask Questions, which is really nice as well. Then we have The Libertines by The Libertines. I listened to this when I was half asleep, but I absolutely loved it. I really, really loved the vibe. It was the first time I'd ever listened to The Libertines. Probably should have made a reaction to them and like listened to them properly for the first time and like filmed it and everything. But it doesn't matter that I didn't. But yeah, I'm really excited to listen to more of their stuff. It isn't something that I'd always go to. Like, I haven't finished listening to the album because I haven't been in the mood to listen to that kind of music since. I think it's more like evening kind of stuff because it's quite heavy. Like, it's quite intense. But yeah, absolutely love it. Thought it was really, really great. Then we have That Could Be Me, which isn't an album. It's a song. But I streamed it so much that it thinks that it's an album. I listened to it 7 times this week, which is just insane. But it is an amazing, amazing song. I absolutely love it. Then we have The Good Witch by Maisie Peters. I think it's a deluxe edition. Yeah, it is. I listened to some of the deluxe tracks off of The Good Witch a couple of times this week. So we have songs like Truth Is, Guy on a Horse, and the last one, Yoko, and the other one is Holy Revival. Yeah, I love all of those songs. I have them on cassette. Let me just get it. I haven't been able to show this on camera yet, but this is the great opportunity. I splurged a bit on some merch from different fandoms. So first we have my Totoro pouch thing. I bought it to be a pencil case, but it's too big to be a pencil case, and I spent too much on it to be a pencil case, and it is too nice to be a pencil case. So I'm using it to keep my Maisie Peters stuff in. So here we have the album, The Good Witch, which I love. I haven't listened to it that much, like on CD, because I've streamed it so much. But yeah, really, really fun. I also have this on vinyl, as I said earlier. I have it in the orange, the Armageddon orange. And then we have the cassette. I bought this off of Vinted a couple of weeks ago. As you can see, it has every single track on it, including the deluxe songs. So yeah. Oh, and the song. I forgot the song. That is another song. But yeah, I haven't played this yet because I don't have a cassette player. I don't know if I'll ever have a cassette player. But it is just nice to have as a huge Maisie Peters fan. So yes, that is that. And then I have this is why I got the cassette, because the cassette came with these. I got the Maisie Peters tarot cards. Oh my god. I've been wanting these since they came out, but I never bought them because you had to buy the album with it, I think, and I didn't need the album again. So it has a tarot card for every single song on the album. How amazing is that? And I am too scared to put these up on the wall. I don't want to ruin them, so I'm just keeping them in their packaging. But they're just stunning artwork. So we have The Good Witch, we have Coming of Age, we have Watch. If you want to see all of these, you can just go on her Spotify page and listen to the songs. But yeah, that is that. Yeah, if you want to see all the other ones, you'll have to go on the canvases of the songs. But yeah, I just wanted to show that because I'm really proud of those. I'm like collecting Maisie Peters merch at the moment. I keep going on Vinted and seeing if anyone's uploaded any new Maisie Peters stuff. Oh, and another Maisie Peters thing I bought lately was the I Dance with the Coven t-shirt, like the little baby tee with the red embroidered letters on it of I Dance with the Coven in red embroidery. Little crop top. I absolutely love it. I will wear it in one of these little weekly catch-up videos, so you'll be able to see it one week because I'm not getting it now. But yeah, so yeah, that is that album. Next we have Wilson by Ash with 6 Scrubbles. I talked about this album last week, so we're not going to talk about it again. We then have Melodrama by Lorde, which, as I said earlier, is one of my favourite Lorde albums. I'm not a huge fan of Lorde. I find her music can get a bit like samey after a while. Like her voice, I find her voice a bit much to listen to it. Loads and loads. So I tend to listen to a couple of songs and then move on to a different artist. So I don't listen to her albums very often, like in their entirety. But I thought Solar Power was a really cool project. I know she doesn't like it very much, but I liked reacting to it. I thought it was fun, and I absolutely love all of the music videos. They're so beautifully shot. So yeah, I listened to that 6 times. Melodrama by Lorde. Then we have AM by the Arctic Monkeys with 5 Scrubbles, and I just absolutely love this record. I am moving to Sheffield for university in September, and this album just sounds so Sheffield-esque. So I absolutely love listening to it because it gets me excited for me moving there. It just sounds so Sheffield-y because the Arctic Monkeys are from Sheffield. So I'm really excited to listen to this album when I'm in Sheffield. But yeah. Next we have Charm by Clairo. I've already talked about this album today, but I just think it is a perfect album. I love listening to it in the winter, so I haven't listened to it much, but I love Add Up Your Love. That is my favourite song on the record, and the song Nomad is just incredible as well. Then we have Jubilee by Japanese Breakfast with 5 Scrubbles, and that's because I listened to Be Sweet 5 times this week. And then we have Rumination as Ritual by Alessi Rose with 4 Scrubbles, which is an amazing EP. I listened to the old song from that, so that's why that is on here. We then have I Am Digital, I Am Divine by Erin LeCount, which I listened to 4 times this week. Again, as I talked about earlier, it is stunning, it is really amazingly produced, it just sounds incredible. So I highly recommend you go and listen to that one. We then have Vertigo by Griff. Again, this album with the Miss Me Too on it. I absolutely love Miss Me Too. I think it is one of her best songs. And yeah, I saw the tour of this album, so it holds a very special place in my heart. It came out last summer, so it soundtracked my last summer of 2024. So I really, really love this album. I absolutely love the track Anything. I've listened to Anything about 50 times, which is a lot for me. I think around 40 to 100 times of like all-time listening is a lot for me personally on my Last.fm account. I know other people listen to songs more than that in the space of a year, but mine, the cut-off is around 40. It doesn't really tend to go higher than that, and unless it's over like 2 or 3 years, and then it's like something crazy like 75. Like You're Just the Boy and I'm Kind of the Man by Maisie Peters, I've listened to 75 times, maybe more, but last time I checked it was 75, which is mad. And then we have It Won't Always Be Like This by Inhaler. I listened to 4 times. I'm so excited to listen to that album properly. Really, really love their sound. I think they're a great band. So excited to dive into their different albums. Next we have Virgin by Lorde. I listened to 4 times. Again, need to listen to this album in full, but I'm not really sure about it. I really, really love What Was That, as I said. But yeah, need to listen to it properly. Then we have The Good Witch by Maisie Peters. I listened to 4 times, so that's just the album itself, not the deluxe edition, because I listened to them separately, because the like standard edition came out a couple months before the deluxe, so I'd already listened to that one loads, so that it gets counted as the main album and the streams of the individual songs get counted, I always listen to them separately. So if I'm listening to deluxe tracks, I'll listen to it on the deluxe edition. But if I'm just listening to songs from the original, just normal edition, I'll listen to it on the original normal edition. So yeah, it's a bit annoying because they're 2 separate albums on Spotify. But I have made a playlist called The Good Witch, which has the standard edition ones and then the deluxe ones from their different albums. So yeah, then we have Back to Friends, the single. I listened to 4 times. That's by Somber. Already talked about that. It's a really, really incredible song. Again, the production on that song is insane, amazing, love it. Then we have Same Mouth by Alessi Rose. I listened to 3 times. Same Mouth is probably my favourite Alessi Rose song. It is just insane, and I am so excited to see how many times I end up listening to it by the end of the year. It's going to be mental. Then we have Order Chaos Order by Callum Hood. I listened to 3 times. This song was really, really amazing. This album is really amazing. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm so excited to. But I really, really love his sound as a solo artist. I think it's really, really cool. Then we have Rumours by Fleetwood Mac. I listened to 3 times. I don't remember listening to this. Oh yeah, I listened to it in the pub. I played it in the pub, a couple of the songs. But I've just listened to it so much lately. I didn't want to listen to the whole album this week. And then we have Harry's House by Harry Styles. I listened to 3 times. I love that album, but I didn't listen to it in full. Then we have Worst of You by Maisie Peters. I listened to 3 times. It is probably my most favourite Maisie Peters song. It's just amazing. And it's really funny because I didn't actually know the song when she performed it at her tour. So I was just like standing there in the crowd like, what is this song? Even though it's one of her older songs, because I just hadn't listened to her older music. So yeah, I have seen it live, but sadly I didn't know it then, so I couldn't scream all the words. So yeah, then we have You Signed Up For This by Maisie Peters. I listened to 3 times. And yeah, then we go into the ones where it's like 2 times or 1 time. So I won't talk about those. And then we move into tracks, but I need a drink first, so I'll be back. So, top songs. My top song of the week, with no surprise, is That Could Be Me by Alessi Rose. Definitely expected this. It is an incredible song. Highly recommend you go and stream it. But yeah, next one is What Was That by Lorde with 6 Scrubbles. Absolutely love this song. As I said before, I believe it is the song of the summer. I don't think anyone is gonna come up with a better song of the summer, in my opinion, before the summer ends. It just sounds so summery. It is incredible. And I didn't stream it that much when it came out. I didn't stream it at all. I only started streaming it this week. But yeah, I just heard so many people using it on TikTok and I'm like, that is really, really good. So yeah. Next we have Castles by Freya Ridings. I listened to this 5 times this week, which is crazy considering I literally just found her music this week. But yeah, again, so excited for Blood Orange. Gonna listen to that this week. Next we have Pages by Nina Nesbitt. I listened to this 5 times. I just love the way this song's written. It's so beautiful, so that's why I listened to it so much this week. Then we have Queen of Peace by Florence and the Machine. I listened to 4 times this week. It is stunning, it is beautiful. Definitely recommend you go and check that out. We then have Be Sweet by Japanese Breakfast. I listened to 4 times. Incredible song. Definitely you should go and listen to it if you haven't already. We then have I'm Coming Home by Nina Nesbitt with 4 Scrubbles. Again, love that song. We then have Back to Friends by Somber with 4 Scrubbles. Then we have Same Mouth by Alessi Rose with 3 Scrubbles. We have Godspeed by Erin LeCount with 3 Scrubbles. We then have Ship to Wreck by Florence and the Machine with 3. Holy Revival by Maisie Peters with 3. Worst of You by Maisie Peters with 3. Then we have Anger Mansion, On the Run and Painkiller by Nina Nesbitt with 3 Scrubbles each. And then we have It's Not Living If It's Not With You by the 1975 with 3 Scrubbles. Then we have The Little Mess You Made with 3 Scrubbles. That's by The Favours. So excited for their debut album. It's going to be incredible. That might be album of the year. People Watching might be second. I think it will be second. I think The Dream by The Favours is going to be the top album of the year for me, personally. And then we have Crush by Alessi Rose with 2. I Know You Know by Alessi Rose with 2. I'm So Chill and Cool by Alessi Rose with 2. Pretty World by Alessi Rose with 2. We then have Pull the Plug by Ash with 2. Add Up My Love by Clairo with 2. Sexy to Someone by Clairo with 2. Mind the Gap by Erin LeCount with 2 Scrubbles. We then have Falling by Florence and the Machine with 2. How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful, Rabbit Heart, Various Storms and Saints, and What Kind of Man by Florence and the Machine, all with 2 Scrubbles each. And then we go into ones with just 2. As we've been saying, ones with 2 as well. But they're all not as significant. So yes, that is all of my music for this week. And let's go to my monthly wrap up now, because it is the end of the month now. I'm gonna be doing this series every week, except from the next 2 weeks I am travelling, so I might do like community posts instead, or just do a big video summarising the last 2 weeks when I'm back, if I can't film when I'm away. Yeah, I don't know. So we shall see. But anyway, last 30 days, my top artist was Taylor Swift with 162 Scrubbles. I'm not going to talk about any of these in depth because I've talked about all of them in depth already, if not this week, last week. So I'm just going to name all of them. Then we have Alessi Rose with 145 Scrubbles. We have Ash with 128 Scrubbles. We have Maisie Peters with 93 Scrubbles. And we have Nina Nesbitt with 67. And then we have Sam Fender with 60, Katy Perry with 54, Gracie Abrams with 50, Fleetwood Mac with 37, Florence and the Machine with 37, Sunday 1994 with 37. Wow, loads have 37. That is so random. The Favours with 33. I've listened to The Little Mess You Made 33 times. That is wild. That is ridiculous. Oh my god. Arctic Monkeys with 28, Griff with 28, Carole King with 25, Little Sims with 25, Erin LeCount with 24, Phineas with 23, Joni Mitchell with 23, Harry Styles with 22, Jensen McRae with 21, because I listened to her discography for the first time. Lorde with 20, Ray with 19, Sleeping at Last with 18, very underrated artist, I absolutely love his music. Faye Webster with 17, Clairo with 16, Freya Ridings with 16, The Beatles with 16, The Smiths with 16, 5 Seconds of Summer with 15, Lola Young with 14, Olivia Rodrigo with 14, The National with 14, Melanie Martinez with 13, because I was reminiscing. We then have Marina with 11, Olivia Dean with 11, Chapel Roan with 10, Dua Lipa with 10, Inhaler with 8, The Libertines with 8, Fletcher with 7, Halsey with 7, Rachel Chinariri with 7, Conan Gray with 6, Ed Sheeran with 6, Holly Nicholson with 6, Luke Hemmings with 6, Paris Paloma with 6, Sabrina Carpenter with 6, and Somber with 6. So that's my top 50 artists of the month of June. Then we have albums, and yes, I'm going to name all 50 for this one as well. We have Wilson with 82, For Your Validation with 64, Mountain Music with, I have forgot to name the artists, Wilson by Ash with 82, For Your Validation by Alessi Rose with 64, Mountain Music by Nina Nesbitt with 59, People Watching by Sam Fender with 57, which is my lucky number. We then have 1989 by Taylor Swift with 36, Ray by Ash with 33, The Little Mess You Made by The Favours, the Dream album by The Favours with 33, Rumination as Ritual by Alessi Rose with 31, Same Mouth by Alessi Rose, the single, 28 times I listened to that song, oh my god. AM by the Arctic Monkeys with 27, The Secret of Us by Gracie Abrams with 25, You Signed Up for This by Maisie Peters with 25, Lungs by Florence and the Machine with 24, Vertigo by Griff with 22, Sunday 1994, their debut self-titled project with 22 scrubbles, Fleetwood Mac's Rumours with 21 scrubbles, Blue by Joni Mitchell, such a beautiful album, with 21 scrubbles, Lotus by Little Sims with 21 scrubbles, 143 by Katy Perry with 19 scrubbles. Yes, I know I shouldn't be listening to that album that much because it's not that great, but I'm going to see her on the Lifetimes tour, so I just, yeah, I don't know. Women's World is such a funny song. Yeah. The Good Witch, the deluxe edition with 19 scrubbles by Maisie Peters. Harry's House by Harry Styles with 18 scrubbles. Good Riddance by Gracie Abrams with 17 scrubbles. Underdressed at the Symphony by Faye Webster with 16 scrubbles. Freya Ridings by Freya Ridings with 16 scrubbles. Prism by Katy Perry, my first ever album I ever bought in CD form. My first ever CD was Prism by Katy Perry, and I listened to it 16 times this month. We then have Folklore, the Long Pond Studio Sessions with 16 scrubbles. Hatful of Hollow with 16 scrubbles by The Smiths. Tapestry by Carole King, such a beautiful album, with 15 scrubbles. Witness by Katy Perry, my favourite Katy Perry album. And the first ever tour I went to, which the Witness tour, with 15 scrubbles. Please Please Me by the Beatles with 15 scrubbles. That Could Be Me, the single by Alessi Rose with 14 scrubbles. Charm by Clairo with 14 scrubbles. Reputation by Taylor Swift with 14 scrubbles. Taylor Swift debut deluxe original, whatever you call it, by Taylor Swift, 14 scrubbles. Her debut, self-titled album. Then we have the first 2 pages of Frankenstein by The National with 14 scrubbles. I'm Digital, I'm Divine by Erin LeCount with 13 scrubbles. We then have Optimist by Phineas with 13 scrubbles. How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful by Florence and the Machine with 13 scrubbles. The Good Witch by Maisie Peters with 13 scrubbles, the original edition. Astronomy Volume 1 by Sleeping at Last with 13 scrubbles. I Don't Know How But They Found Me by Jensen McRae with 12 scrubbles. This Wasn't Meant For You Anyway by Lola Young with 12 scrubbles. Dressed Too Nice for a Jacket, one of my favourite Maisie Peters projects, oh my god, with 12 scrubbles. Guts by Olivia Rodrigo with 12 Scrubbles, Devotion by Sunday 1994 with 12 Scrubbles, Midnights by Taylor Swift with 12 Scrubbles, Red, the original edition by Taylor Swift, 12 Scrubbles, Melodrama by Lorde, 11 Scrubbles, Ashlyn by Ash with 10 Scrubbles, and finally Music by Carole King, 10 Scrubbles, which I actually didn't listen to. My headphones were just still playing it, but I wasn't listening to it, I was doing other stuff. But yeah, those are my top albums of the month of June. And finally we have tracks, and I would go insane if I was to sit here and name all of these tracks. So I'm going to just show them now on the screen. But yeah, that was my top music of this week and top music of the last month as well. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I do these videos every week. So if you'd like to see what I listen to next week, please join us next week. And I will let you know my top songs next week if I make a video. If I don't, it'll be on the community tab. But yes, that is all I have to say for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.